Hey everyone, welcome back to a writing test series. Let's see what we have for today. Now in part 1 we have questions about talent. Okay, well that's a new one. I haven't seen something of the sort in quite a long time, but this should be interesting. Okay. Do you have a talent? What is it? Well, I have quite a lot of talents. I'm not a one-trick pony. I think perhaps my biggest talent is that even as a child, I have always been very keen when it comes to, I think, grammar, just languages in general. And I mean, it was kind of my hobby almost to, pick out errors in grammar, in books, newspapers, shop hoardings, stuff like that. It just happens very, very. I mean, I don't even think about it. It's almost like I have some kind of, filter where I just automatically detect that, oh my god, the thing is wrong, and this doesn't just happen in English. I've been learning a few other languages and it's starting to happen there as well. So yeah, it's kind of fun, of course. But I have lots of other talents like this. But I think that's the biggest one, though. I mean, of course, I'm good at lots of things as any human would be, but yeah, that's the big one. Were you especially good at something when you were a child? So like I said, that's the big one. My being this kind of a grammar Nazi, so to speak, is my main talent. But I was told, now I don't really remember because my memory isn't that great, but my mom told me that I used to play table tennis really well. But that was when I was, I don't know, 5 years or 6 years old or something. I don't know what happened then. I don't even remember playing any table tennis. So that's kind of odd because, I think I should remember if I was that good at it. But anyway, I also did. I mean, I was really good at just devouring books, right? You give me a book, and the next day I've already read it. And of course, it's still the same thing today as well. In fact, I just finished reading Wuthering Heights in like 2 days. So yeah. Does a talent help you in work? Of course. I'm so lucky that I had the opportunity to kind of, transform my talent, my passion into my profession. I think that's really the best of both worlds. I mean, you get to do something you really enjoy and something which comes almost effortlessly to you, right? That's the dream. Of course, there's always aspects of your career, of your job that may not be ideal, but I mean, challenges are always a good thing. Just because you don't like the one thing and just because not everything is smooth sailing doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because how else would you grow as a human being? If you never face any challenges, you would never, face growth, right? So yeah. Does anyone in your family have the same talent as you? I don't think so. No, not really. Everybody has their own talents, especially my mom, for example. She was really good at art, design, painting, drawing, stuff like that. Meanwhile, I'm not good at that at all. I mean, I can't really draw paint. I would love to learn. I find it very fascinating, but unfortunately, I mean, I would say I've got two left hands, honestly. um, but yeah, I can't really think because I think we're all very unique, all very different. We have our own skills. It's weird because, usually people say that, this person's talent is, passed down. Lots of singers, for example, they have children, they turn out to be singers and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think that's true because everyone's, the way you develop your talents, of course, it can be, for example, if you have, a particular uh, kind of, I mean, let's say you're a math prodigy or something. I think maybe that's just the way your brain is wired. So maybe you could pass that down, but of course, for most talents, it's really something that you're interested in. Plus, you work really hard at it, and it kind of just happens, especially when you start young. That's really important, I think. Okay, let's see what we have for part 2. Talk about a quiet place that you like. You should say, where is it? What kind of place is it? How often do you visit it? And explain why this place is special to you. So as a university student, I greatly enjoy being able to go to university. Of course, that doesn't happen regularly. I mean, especially over the past 2 years, because of COVID. But I've been there a couple times, and what I really love is, of course, every department has their own area. I am studying a bunch of foreign languages, so I have access to quite a few places. And what I really love is the empty rooms that they have. I mean, once lessons are done, it's you have pretty much the place to yourself, so you can kind of just sit in peace, get your work done. I really like just staying back. Of course, you have the library, but I actually find that a library can be kind of noisy. I know that sounds weird, but think about it. There's tables, there's people leaving their tables, there's books being, flipped and opened and shut, and it's just the libraries are actually not that quiet. These rooms, their classrooms, are much quieter, so it's a great place to get some work done real quick. I find that, at least for me, it's easy to get my work done when there's like complete silence, and I'm really kind of particular about that. Some people can work no matter what, but for me, it any kind of noise is extremely, it's just grating. So yeah, I mean, of course not everyone feels this way, but I think I have misophonia. I'm not really sure, but I think I do. So yeah, I mean, these classrooms were huge, right? So and of course, it's, I mean, especially when it's like raining outside as it does nowadays, I mean, the whole atmosphere is just so great because they have these huge windows, and you can of course see, and it's a really nice green area, so you can see all the trees and stuff. And I think they even have a tiny lake. I can't really see it from the classrooms that we have, of course, but you can see just the tiniest glimpse of it, so of course that's also quite a lot of fun, I'd say. But yeah, of course, it's really far, so I don't really get to go that often. Most of our lessons are actually held online, so we don't even need to go there. But the couple times that I have been there, I've really enjoyed it. And of course, I mean, it kind of reminds me of when I was in college. And it was kind of the same thing, except the classrooms were, of course, not as huge. They were still large, but not huge. And it was a lot of fun. I would still do the same thing, stay behind in classrooms and get my work done in complete, absolute silence. I mean, I just really enjoy the feeling, is completely different. Okay, let's see what we have for part 3. Why is the countryside quieter than big cities? Well, duh. Naturally, because there's fewer people generally. There's fewer people, there's fewer cars and vehicles and stores. So, I mean, of course it's going to be quieter. It should be quieter. I'd be surprised if the countryside or if any kind of rural area is not, quieter. That's kind of the whole point, isn't it? But yeah, obviously a city, you have so many people doing so many things. You have businesses that cater to these people, right? I mean, if I was gonna open up a store, would I open it up in a place that has like 10,000 residents, or would I open up a store in a place that has 100,000 residents, right? It's a no-brainer. Of course, I'm going to open a store in a place that has, more potential customers, and that's just what every business thinks. So naturally, you have tons of people, I mean, any place where you have lots of people, you have lots of establishments, stores, businesses to cater to them. Not just businesses, but also, for example, town halls, and other things like hospitals, universities, restaurants, stuff like that. So, I mean, all in all, of course, it adds up, and you've got all these people trying to avail all of these services. Let's say, for example, I want to go to the mall. Of course, I could walk there, but it's kind of far. I mean, it's 25 minutes by foot, or I could just take a cab, right? Or I could even just take like a bus or something. We have really great public transport here, by the way. But yeah, naturally, if you want to go somewhere, you have to use some kind of transport method, and of course that creates noise. Duh. So yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer, really. Do you think older people enjoy quiet places more than young people? I think that's really a myth. Everyone's different. I mean, I'm a young person. I mean, I'm not like a senior citizen anyway. and I am really, like I said, I'm really particular about having a quiet place to work and study. But I've known older people that actually really liked lively places, that really hated quiet areas. So it depends on the person. You cannot really say, oh, just because someone's old, they like sitting at home, they like peace and quiet, they hate noise, or that just because someone's young, just because someone's young, that they're gonna be noisy or something like that, right? Because a lot of people don't prefer living next to young people, or college age people, because they think that, oh, they're young, they're gonna party, they're gonna have a lot of people over, they're gonna be noisy. I don't think that's true. I think that's really just a stereotype. Of course, you might say stereotypes exist for a reason, but I don't find that's true. Everyone really, at least in my experience, right, the kind of people that I've known, and I've known a lot of people, everyone is so unique. Someone would believe that older people, oh yeah, they're going to enjoy quiet places only if they really haven't interacted with a lot of older people. In fact, even people who are kind of isolated or do have, kind of a quiet life, have expressed the desire to be able to go out, do things, to really, participate in a social life. It's just that they're hindered by either their, poor health, or lack of mobility, or a whole bunch of possible reasons. So yeah. Do you think nowadays our houses are noisier? Why is that? On average, I would say yes, because if you look at, historical data, more and more people live in urban settlements now. So naturally, if you live in an urban settlement, it's going to be a noisy place. There's just no comparison to a suburban area, or a rural area, right? So yeah, but of course that depends. I mean, if you ask me, for example, my apartment is located in a really quiet place. We I don't know if we got lucky or if this was planned, but the whole area that's right outside my window, there's this huge, huge public garden, but it's kind of far, so you don't actually get to hear people, talking, running, whatever. And there's no, like, apartments, buildings, stuff like that, right? So it's great. We have an amazing view, and it's really quiet. And I know it's really quiet because I've been to other, friends' apartments, and I've lived elsewhere as well. And my God, the amount of noise that other people, especially people who live close to roads and streets. I mean, like I said, my apartment is kind of at the end of a cul-de-sac, so it's, like, we're very isolated from street noises. But my God, even on like the 10th floor, 15th floor in my city, you get to hear, cars and bikes honking and all of that. It's so annoying. There really is no peace and quiet. I mean, yeah, some people enjoy the lively, like I said, for some people it's kind of interesting, I guess. Not for me though. But yeah, I would say, if on average, yes. But for me personally, no. I live in a very quiet place, and I'm very lucky that I live in a city, but still my apartment is really quiet. I really enjoy that because I'm still, very much a city girl at heart. I mean, I love the convenience. I just love, the it's all very lively. It's all very active. I really enjoy that. Why do people like quiet places? I think it's just something that I feel like maybe inside of every person. Now, of course, I'm generalizing, not every single person, but I just mean, as a human being, I think you have this desire to connect with nature, to just be at peace with yourself, to kind of escape the hustle and bustle of daily life, right? I mean, you wake up at whatever 7 a.m., 8 a.m., whatever, you brush, you shower, whatever, and you go to work, and there's, traffic, you reach your workplace, yada yada. So during the course of your day, there's just so many things happening around you, right? You have your family, you have your kids, you have your friends, you have your coworkers, you have the TV, you have traffic, you have all these things. Everything demands so much of your attention that it's just natural to want to retreat to a place that's quiet, where you can calm down, you can kind of relax. Yeah, you can be one with your thoughts. You can actually think clearly about a lot of things, especially when I have, for example, when I want to plan something. I don't put on music, right? Because I need to be able to kind of hear my internal thoughts. I don't know if that sounds weird to you, but I kind of like talk to myself mentally. So I need that peace and quiet to just hear myself think. And I think that's true for a lot of people. I know, and I'm not the only one for sure. So that's kind of why, because I mean, this is like, especially because it's so rare, right? If you're like a city person, or even if you're not, I mean, even in suburban areas, it's noisy nowadays. But peace and quiet is just so uncommon. It's in such short supply that anything that's in short supply becomes precious, becomes important to people, right? Like, let's take the marketing for diamonds, for example. Diamonds are not rare at all, by the way, but the way they're marketed, you think, oh my god, what a precious thing, right? I mean, that's just the way things go. So that's of course also part of the reason. But yeah, like I said, human nature, we just really want to be at peace, be able to hear ourselves, be able to calm down. And that, of course, only happens when you're in a quiet place. All right, well, that's it for today. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.